I was the first one among all my friends and my family who had achieved this prestigious scholarship.
This scholarship has already transformed my life. I'm just so excited to go back and see how best I can make an impact.
Women who have a degree in science, technology, engineering, mathematics, or a related subject, and hail from South Asia, East Asia, and the Americas, are invited by the British Council to apply for a life-transforming experience and receive a master's degree scholarship in their field of study at some of the most prestigious universities across the United Kingdom.
I was a person who had never studied anything abroad. I was a person who had never lived a life alone. Now I'm doing everything independently, so it means a lot to me.
I just love this country and love my university because my university is stunning. And my professors, everyone is so welcoming and so friendly and very supportive.
This year-long scholarship is fully funded, including travel costs, tuition fees, visa and health cover, and a stipend. If you speak English, can demonstrate the need for financial support, and are already active in your field of study or able to prove a dedicated interest, this is a golden opportunity for both your studies and life experiences alike.
I get the chance to socialize with my friends, not just around campus, but in the city center. There are a lot of pubs, restaurants, cafes.
I have friends from the UK, from Europe, from Africa, and we have parties together, meetings together, we have studies together, so I'm loving it.
The most I'm enjoying being in UK is the freedom.
If you have aspirations of making a difference in your home country and dream of inspiring future generations of women who wish to pursue a career in STEM, this scholarship will give you the education, tools, and confidence to make a truly positive impact.
My knowledge base has expanded significantly since being here. Every time I learn something new, I think about how this could be implemented in Jamaica to make the environment a better place for protection, preservation, and also sustainability.
Being a woman in STEM is something extremely empowering because it is a field that has been underrepresented by women from the early stages of this field. So it's extremely important that we keep contributing and that we know that our work will have a positive impact in the life of many in the future.
For this unique opportunity, the British Council wholeheartedly encourages you to apply for the scholarship campaign.
If you're passionate about a career in STEM and if you have a dream to study in the UK, take the challenge and go for it.
It prepares me for something bigger in the future, I can tell.
I would definitely back you and encourage you to go for it without having any fears and doubts in yourself. I know it seems a little bit intimidating, but trust me that everything is going to fall in place.
Our interventions in Kenya are in three levels. We've got national interventions. This is where we think through our policy environment, our tracking of the national performance, and so on and so forth. And then we've got institutional interventions. And this is where we try to think about how do we make this institution called University of Kabianga a key player of the national innovation system. Can it be even better?
This is the best time for us to start asking ourselves, what will the university of the future look like?
One of the key strategies is to ensure that universities start ensuring they have alternative ways of supporting themselves in terms of not relying on government. That is to commercialize their research. That is one of the ways in which we are encouraging them. We are also encouraging them to use their idle assets, which they have at the university level. We are encouraging them to come up with investment vehicles so that they can be able to start.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. We have our, thank you. We want to invite Mr. Onsomu to come and offer a word of prayer.
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we come before you this morning, humbled, knowing that, Lord, you are our guide. Thanking you, Lord, for the gift of life. We praise you. Lord, we have got a day here in your name, and we pray that, Lord, as we go through this day, go before us, light our pathways. We pray for the management of the university for this initiative. We pray for our sponsors that, Lord, you continue to extend their territories. And, Lord, our students open their minds that, Lord, they receive your word. They know you, O Lord, and know that it's you who has gone before them and lit their pathways. Bless us, O Lord, as we go through this period of innovation. Open our minds that, Lord, we'll embrace the spirit of togetherness, that, Lord, we'll be able to take the university to the next level. Bless our sponsors, Lord, that, Father, they may get more and sponsor more, O Heavenly Father. We humble ourselves and say that, Lord, you are God, that everything we do in your name, for in Jesus' mighty name we pray and believe. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you. You can have your seat. Thank you very much, Mr. Onsomu. Our chief guest, Ms. Nancy Matimu, our DVC ASA, Prof. Bagaka, and our DVC Innovation, Prof. Onywera. We thank you for coming with us and joining us today. This morning, this is our day 3 of Innovation Week, and we call it Innovation Week and Industry Summit. Our university, being a university of business and technology, we pride ourselves in creating new knowledge for the industry. And in this week, our university set aside this week so that we can think innovation. We think creating sustainable innovations to change the lives of the people in the world. And so I would want to tell you that this morning we want to have talks that will open our minds. There will be parts where we'll have questions and some answers at the end of it. And so welcome you so much to this discourse. In this part, we'll have our dean who will make remarks, and then we'll then proceed on to invite our DVC ASA, who will then proceed on to invite our chief guest. And as we start off, it would be good for you to just open your minds to thoughts that would change the world. A case in point is one little innovator who came up with an idea of M-Pesa. When we talk about sustainable innovation, somebody would ask, when will M-Pesa end? So many years ago, you realized that the platform for M-Pesa had 2 buttons. One was for sending money, and another one was for receiving money. And the mind behind that probably would have not known how that would revolutionize the entire financial industry, to give banks a run for their money, to provide financial access to those little people in the village, that they may have a transactional account using that innovation. Our old grandmothers in the village would wait for cash to be sent through another person traveling to the village, either in 3 weeks or 2 weeks or 1 month, and the report will be brought to them after a long period of time, when the persons traveling from the village to towns will come. And so because of innovation, it is good that we have been able to come up with the tabs that are there, that now keeps increasing, to have Lipa na M-Pesa, to have all those innovative things that make our society better. And so this week, the thoughts are around that. So welcome. So I want to have not seen our Dean, SOT. Thank you. So I would want to request Prof. Ngigi to, with humility, come and invite Prof. Onywera to give us a Prof. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Give a round of applause. Please appreciate him one more time. He's done a great job, is he not? Let us appreciate him one more time. We are very privileged this morning as KCA University to be on the 3rd day of 4 for the 2nd KCA University Innovation Week and Industry Summit. And we are very, very happy. Our chief guest, Nancy Matimo, who is the FinTech Innovation Director and Business Lead, Serari Group. And we are also joined here by Ms. Gladys Njiru, the Group CEO of DataSec Africa. We don't take it for granted that you are here. Without taking much time, allow me to invite our Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of Academic and Student Affairs to kindly step forward and invite our chief guest this morning, Professor Joshua Bagakas. Let us appreciate him.
Our Vice Chair of the KCA University Council, Nancy Matimo, actually the longest serving member of the council. I think it's approaching 10 years, I suspect, Nancy. And a very good friend of KCA University, highly vested. My colleague, DVC Rio, or Professor Onywera, all the invited guests, colleagues, students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's really nice to be here again. KCA University, we have had quite a number of critical moments, this one being one of them. We just finished the Culture Week, and now we have this one, which is also very, very critical. What it brings to mind, in our strategic plan, we have several pillars, but one of the pillars is student engagement. Of course, that strategic plan is about to retire so that we can usher in another one. But I actually suspect that the concept of engagement is going to remain as part of the pillar. But actually at KCA University, we have pushed this engagement to very high level, to the point where it's no longer student engagement, it is engagement with family, with parents, it is engagement with the industry, and one which is very unique, the vice chair of the council, is the engagement with the council, members of the council. And we actually intentionally want to engage even the sponsors. And so this idea of student engagement has actually given forth to dropping student and leaving the period to be engagement. And I think this is best demonstrated by what actually has been happening. You know, when you look at the program, you see the kind of engagement. Particularly the vice chair of the University Council, Nancy Matim, she's always in the university at critical moments. Of course, she's very busy doing things, not just in Kenya, but in the globe, but she makes time to be with us at critical moments like today. So we really appreciate you being here to grace the occasion. And I think, based on the fact that she's highly exposed in the industry, as well as in academia, I think we'll gain a lot from her insights and the insights of others who are with us. And I think us, we stand to benefit a lot from the interaction which we have now, because it's really good to have a conversation about issues which have a lot of implications on the kind of students we produce from KCA University. And I think this has a lot of implications on employability and the sustainability as well. So with those few remarks, I want to take this time to warmly welcome our Vice Chair of the Council and the chief guest of this forum, Ms. Nancy Matim, to come and address the congregation. Thanks very much.
The DVC Academics, Professor Bagakas, the DVC Research and Innovation, Professor Vincent Onywera, the various leadership represented this morning from the university, and the leadership from the Data Security, the CEO of Data Security Organization of Africa, as well as the students and all the members that are present, that are participating in the Innovation Week. Good morning. Good morning. Are you afraid? Are you expectant? If you're expectant, then let's have expectant faces. So thank you very much for inviting me to share with you my thoughts with regard to fintech and innovation, and especially speaking around the trends, opportunities, and the challenges. But before I do that, I want to tell you that I was one day as young as you are, possibly way younger, and one day I was 18 when I encountered technology and ICT in this country. And it just so happened that I had finished high school and was thinking about what to do, and I self-enrolled, not taken to school by anybody, I self-enrolled in a college that was called the School of Professional Studies, SPS, that became KSPS, that became Mineral University, that became Mount Kenya University today. And quite frankly, I did not think that my fortunes would change to the direction that they did, simply because of a gentleman, my uncle, who insisted that, when I look at you should possibly try something that is going on, and the new trendy thing to do is technology. That was how many years ago? That's close to 40 years ago. 30 years ago. Because now this year, I am a whopping 49 years old. 30 years ago, and technology was the trending thing, and today it's still trending for the right reasons. Now, when we talk about financial technology, you might think that fintech just has come about to being most recently, and the answer is no. As a matter of fact, what we knew as money movement using MoneyGram, Western Union, I don't know how many of you remember or ever encountered Western Union or MoneyGram. Anybody in the room? You did? But the younger people have got no clue what MoneyGram and Western Union were. Well, if you grew up country like I did, do you remember the days that we used matatus to send money home and to get money? Do you remember? Okay. And then came in payment technology companies that would help us. Instead of carrying money, we would pay using technology, using card payment technology. And then most recently, we've had the innovation of all time in Africa, which has been M-Pesa, that opened up the fintech world as we know it today. And the only reason, the main dichotomy, and you need to listen to this one very carefully, the main dichotomy between the fintech revolution, that is M-Pesa, and what has followed thereafter, is not so much so that it's anything different. Western Union was doing just about the same thing. The difference was on the power that M-Pesa, took to leverage technology in its entirety. Okay, so let me just share with you something about M-Pesa. I worked in Safaricom for a couple of years, and I don't know if you've heard about the ABCDs of fintech. The ABCDs of fintech. Anybody knows about the ABCDs of fintech? Financial technology? Now, one day I think I should become a teacher. Yeah, and this morning I'll start practicing being a teacher. Anybody knows about the ABCDs of can you guess what the first A is, or the first letter A is? Anybody? B, C, D? Okay, so today we talk about the ABCDs of fintech in terms of leveraging technology on artificial intelligence, blockchain. The D is, can you guess what the C is? Cloud. And the last one, D? Big data. Am I speaking to students of technology today? Yes. I am. Yes. Seriously? And we're all talking about artificial intelligence, robotics, Web 3.0. We're talking about all those things, right? Okay. Now, the only big difference, and this is where you need to start from when you're designing whatever fintech innovations that you're working on, is understanding the underlying technology that you want to leverage. And the reason why I say this is that, do you know that M-Pesa had been running on cloud for as long, even before we started talking about cloud? Do you know that? Do you know that? Do you know that today Safaricom Fuliza runs on cloud? Do you know that? No, you didn't know that, right? Now you know. Okay. So I can tell you one of the most expensive investments for you to be able to scale your financial innovation is the technology itself, and especially the machines and the physical technology, hardware technology that you require to be able to run it. But for you to be able to scale and grow and be able to run at a pace that you can afford to be able to run and eventually reach as many people as possible, you have to run on versatile and robust technology. And cloud is one of those. Okay. So I don't think in this day and age there's anybody who is building a solution and practically building it on, in a machine somewhere in their corner and hoping to do a P2P connection to everybody and be able to achieve the success they want to. So the first big trend, whatever you're building, build it on the cloud, because it gives you the ability to scale at your pace, and that means, and by the way, today all forms of cloud solutions, be they, you've got Huawei on site, you've got, about AWS, Amazon Web Services, about Microsoft Azure. The one thing about all these GCP, Google Cloud platform have in common is that they can now allow you to scale, auto-scaling, which means that when you have a growth in transaction or a spike like over Christmas, they scale upwards and you pay for only that period, and then they scale downwards when you then have the sort of stabbed period of a January when transactions drop. So building solutions on cloud is a big, big opportunity. But let me come back to what really made Safaricom and M-Pesa very successful. It's building solutions on mobile. So mobile. So if you're going to build for Africa and you're going to build for Kenya, we are a mobile first economy, a mobile first country, a mobile first continent. We encounter our first internet experiences and global exposure interactions with global linkages on the mobile even before we discover the big screen or the laptops or the desktops. I'm sure you would agree that you spend a lot more time, and this is nothing new that I'm telling you really. But sometimes we need to remind ourselves of the key drivers of success and the key trends. Okay. Now, so cloud, which is the third C of the ABCDs of fintech, is very important. But then for you to achieve that scale and reach as many people, you need to build solutions for mobile. But we already know that. Now, today, if you're building a solution, you don't have to be a techie. So if you're in this room and you're a technology expert or a technology student, the future, if you think about building applications by just leveraging the basic UI, user interface and user experience technology that you know, may not take you too far. Because again, as you've seen, a lot more technology companies are coming up with what is called zero code, low code, and advanced code capabilities, which therefore means that anybody who does not understand even how to write code can actually be able to take an app to market. So those skills that we so prided ourselves in, the UX UI skills, may very quickly be phased out. But they are be quite intensified in terms, not phased out, it be quite saturated in terms of the number of people who can be able to be able to design user interfaces. But there are certain skills. So this is possibly what is important to you. There's certain skills that cannot be easily replaced. And one of those skills is the creative skill. The creative skill is the one skill, even as much as artificial intelligence can exist, cannot replace. So all of us world over can be able to leverage the ABCDs of technology in order for us to build great fintech innovations. But what will set you apart from a design perspective is your creative ability. So in as much as you are building technical skills and technology skills, I would urge you very much to invest in creative and design skills. And I'm speaking this from experience. We're in the process of designing a platform on Serari.com, serarigroup.com, and my Serari, which is now available on Android. And I can tell you, the easiest bit is actually the UX, UI, and the backend integrations. It took us so long to actually go through proper design thinking to come up with the designs that we wanted to have, which had to follow customer experiences. So one of the things I would urge you, so gone are the days when we led with technology and led with product. You've had so many successful brands, starting from Apple, Amazon, coming back home to M-Pesa and Safaricom, KCB, and those organizations that have been able to reposition and pivot during these times. And the one thing they keep saying about is we are customer focused. Now, customer focused does not necessarily mean having a call center that people are calling you and you can address their problems. Being customer-centric means that your innovation starts with the customer. So please do not get lost in the world of technology and be sort of tempted to lead with the technology to build a solution that I want to build an artificial intelligence technology. I want to bring to market a blockchain technology or application. I want to bring to market, a cloud-based. What exactly are you trying to achieve? Those days are long gone. because the efficiencies that we get from these technologies, anybody can be able to leverage those. So the trend that you will see is that it's not enough to build solutions on technology. The most important thing is not just the creative and design bit of it, is starting with the customer in mind. So I can tell you at no point did MoneyGram or Western Union come and tell us that they are using ABCD technology to solve a problem of moving money between nations, which has now become international remittances. At no point did Safaricom come and tell us, by the way, we are running a cloud solution, or we are running robotics in the back. By the way, they did. They started using robotics a long time ago, and actually some of the services within Safaricom M-Pesa are actually run using robots. So robotics, of course, software robots. They didn't come and tell you that we're using artificial intelligence, but a lot of the customer value management systems actually run on artificial intelligence. Instead, they came and said, we are going to help you solve the problem of money movement. Now, when we talk about fintech, the space of fintech, financial technology, it presents such huge opportunities, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Let me tell you, if you didn't think about money, before the day comes to an end, you have thought about money, isn't it? Isn't that true? Are we in the same country? Vitu kwa ground nasikia vitu ni ngumu, and earth is very hard. And we are going through character development, and especially with money. Is that true? Yes. Every single day, every activity that we do involves movement of money. The question is, are you thinking about the movement of money today? Or are you thinking about the next layer of solutions which are solving problems sitting above the movement of money? Why? Movement of money has been sorted out in this country. What we call financial inclusion and movement of money, send money and payments, I can tell you the penetration is so high that anybody thinking about coming into Kenya to do payments thinks twice. And I can tell you that because I worked for MasterCard, and you have to think, what exactly are you coming to do for this market? So if you're sitting here and thinking of a payment solution, it may not be the opportunity for today. In fact, we are saying in the Digital Caucus that financial inclusion in Kenya is by far overplayed. So I'll tell you the history of fintech in this country. So we started off with money movement, payments, pretty much. Payments to individuals, so I'm sending money to you, send money, payments to individuals. We moved to payments to merchants, which is now utility payments through pay bills, through Lipa na M-Pesa, you've seen that, and card payment. And then we moved to accessing loans using financial technology, which pretty much is what we know as digital lending. And how you know that an area is saturated, it's when the regulator starts to regulate it. So before money movement was a thing, there was no regulation. And actually, when M-Pesa was built, there was no regulation to regulate mobile money. And then, as you know, we now have a regulatory framework behind that that is governed by the central bank. Now, for a long time, anybody could come up with an app and do digital lending. Do you know you cannot do that today? You can't just wake up and do digital lending, because it's not just Google that will have to do and Apple that will have to do a proper analysis and assessment, even to get a simple pay bill from Safaricom today to dispense money. You have to go through such a thorough checkup, including anti-money laundering, which was never the case. You'd apply for a pay bill and just get it. So when you see increasingly the regulation, whether it is self-regulation within organizations or by the regulator coming to play,
then no, the opportunities are dimming in that space. So digital lending also is sort of dimming. The problem with digital lending or the opportunity is no longer with the fintech innovation. It's a lot more to do with lending capital. In fact, the demand is so high, there is no single application or service provider that can satisfy the demand for credit yet. So if you're going to get into digital lending, it's not because you're going to come up with anything innovative, it's possibly because you can be able to tap into additional lending capital. So there is still an opportunity in that space. But what's now the new opportunity? So the new opportunity, we are speaking about financial empowerment. Beyond financial inclusion into financial empowerment. And I can tell you, getting to financial empowerment, you have to be prepared to do the hard work. Being prepared to do the hard work means you have to educate the market. When Safaricom came into being with the M-Pesa, they did a lot of mobile, literally, mobile money trucks, moving from town to town, educating people on movement of money using M-Pesa. And they put in a lot of money in customer education and even just educating the entire ecosystem. So if you're willing to be part of the next wave, which is the wave of financial empowerment, you have to be willing to do the hard work. And that hard work includes slow, but slow growth, but it will pay off, believing that it will pay off. If you go in with the mentality of making money quick, because fintechs have been known to give you a leg up into quick money, financial empowerment will not give you quick money. So what exactly is financial empowerment? Now, the interesting thing about financial empowerment is every bank today, and including mobile money, M-Pesa, MTN Money Momo, Tigo Pesa, all of them put together, including the Visas of this world and MasterCard, have all been able to address the issue of financial inclusion, money moving. All right. So the next thing, obviously, that was underplayed but is now increasingly getting attention is store of value. Store of value. So store of value, and this is where financial empowerment comes in. So the initial financial technology innovations around store of value were just exactly that. You have an M-Pesa wallet, you can store your money in your M-Pesa wallet. Or you have a bank account and you can store your money in the bank account. By a show of hands, and please indulge me, how many of us have a bank account? Okay. How many of us have an M-Pesa wallet? M-Pesa. How many of us have M-Pesa? Because money sits in there for some time, huh? All of us, right? How many of us have a current account? So all those others, what do you have if you don't have a current account? No, seriously, if you have a bank account. So it's highly likely that students of today have mobile money as their store of value. Is that true? But what will make the store of value differentiate itself from a bank store of value? Or what will make the bank store of value differentiate itself from any other store of value? That's where the next innovation is coming from. Now, in Kenya today, one of the hardest things to reckon with is the rate at which our economy and the drivers of our economy are moving in the direction that no one wants them to move to. We all understand inflation. Inflation is the rate at which price of goods go up every day. I mean, that's the simplest way I can put it. To measure inflation, you look at the changes in the price of goods and services, and then you figure out the inflation of the country. So if you look at the price of fuel, if you go to any gas station, price has gone up, right? If you look at the price of flour, it's gone up, and not because of Kenya Kwanza government. A lot of other things, not just the political scene. If you go to schools, school fees going up. The average rate of inflation in this country for a long time has sat between 6.5 to 7.5%. In fact, we try to keep it within 2% to 7.5%. That is the zone in which we want to play in. But for the first time, we've hit the highest of 9.5% this year. We hit 9.5%, almost closing into 10%. Okay. Now, if your money is sitting in M-Pesa and not M-Shwari, and it's sitting in your current account, it's earning 0 interest. To make matters worse, it's losing value every day at the rate of inflation, which is 7.5%. And that's why we are saying the 1,000 shillings of last year can only buy you items worth 850 shillings, right? Is that right? Okay. So the next innovation is understanding those movements and then correlating them to the problems that people actually have. So when you look at money, the biggest problem today people are talking about is my money is not, I'm possibly making just about the same amount of money or even a little bit more, but I can't keep up with the cost of living. So how do you solve for that? If you can solve for me to put my money in an account where it doesn't lose value and deliver it on what I said earlier on mobile, deliver it on mobile, you solve the first problem, pressing problem. And that's the first level in store of value, shifting from financial inclusion to financial empowerment. So if you can build solutions that are going to enable people access a store of value that gives them value higher than the rate of inflation, then you'll be solving a real problem. And you can already see the signs towards that. You've seen the central bank DAO. Have you heard about the central bank DAO? Okay. You've heard about the Standard Chartered wealth management app that allows you to buy treasury bonds. Okay. So the wave has started. That's the new wave towards financial inclusion. So that's on store of value. The next one is, once you have solved basic problems around store of value and preserving, you want to grow that value. So if you can help me protect by ensuring that I have a store of value that protects my value from depreciation and then moves to the next layer of ensuring that I can be able to grow my value, then you'll be my good friend. Those are the problems that people are looking to get sorted out with. Now, how do I grow? Now, the interesting thing is, in this particular space, it's almost impossible, I'm sure, by the show of hands and the excitement and the level of participation in the room, I can almost tell that our appreciation of these concepts, not just in this room, but in most rooms I speak to, is fairly low. But when we talk about your money losing value every single day, you can relate to that. So one of the biggest things, and you'll have seen ABSA having written about this, the ABSA Bank and the CEO of ABSA spoke about it in the course of this week, and he said they are now moving to financial literacy, financial education. Now, gone are the days again when financial literacy was about doing a little ad on TV, or what you used to call the TV commercials, or TVCs that are designed towards education, infomercials, that would just talk about basic things, because you all know what has happened to viewership of TV, right? But even then, there is just so much information and scattered information that's available on the internet, you don't know where to start. So there is now concerted effort to actually build learning management systems to empower people with the basics of financial literacy. Now, it's such a big problem, and if you understand Innovation solves problems. Innovation is not about technology. It's about using the technology to solve for problems. If you understand the problems, then you can solve and innovate. And you can solve for those problems and innovate. So I'm sharing with you the key trend, and look at the newspapers of this week. You will have seen ABSA CEOs speaking about the fact that they are moving to financial literacy. Now, if you go to www.serarigroup.com, there's nothing we do but financial literacy. And the reason is simple. Financial literacy in the whole world sits at an all-time low. In the US alone, in North America, financial literacy studies showed that financial literacy statistics were sitting at less than 33%. 33%. In other words, you're going to graduate without knowing how money works. I graduated without knowing how money works. 7 of us in North America would leave school, go through life without knowing how money works. You can imagine how badly off it is in Africa. So, what exactly is understanding how money works? It's understanding budgeting, it's understanding portfolios, it's understanding investments, it's understanding the different yields that your money is sitting in the bank account today, in your current account, and you're so comfortable that it's losing value every day, you don't even know it. You don't even know it. Yeah, I'm sure even Professor Bagakas did not know it possibly. Professor Onyora, did you know that? Did you have an appreciation? Your money is losing value every day at the rate of 7.5%. Seriously. Okay. So now, when we talk about being able to grow your money, you cannot grow your money unless you have financial literacy. So you will see, I guarantee you, in fintech, an overwhelming growth in financial literacy focus, and of course supported by learning systems, learning management systems that will be able to support that. But it will not end with that. It will move into ensuring that then you can access the marketplace to be able to buy products around financial empowerment or financial growth. Before you get to protecting your financial wealth, understanding that your money in the account is losing value every day, and then moving to knowing that I want to grow it, so I want to move and be able to access products and applications that can enable me to be able to move my money into high growth, instruments, high yield instruments, and then moving to preserving that wealth, looking for, investments that can give you, not just about movement of money, but other investments that can give you capital protection, where you invest, your capital is assured of protection, but you can take a certain amount of risk to be able to grow it, and understanding the power of compound interest, all those things all put together. But before you get there, do you know today the number of people that are having sleepless nights over money? Sleepless nights over money. I can see the leaders of industry, captains of industry nodding, because we're having sleepless nights of our own organizations, whether it's a large organization or a small organization. We're having sleepless nights over your own personal finances. And the fact is, a study done in the UK showed that 50%, over 50% of the mental health issues are related to financial issues. There's a direct correlation between financial stress and mental health. And in fact, in Africa, it could be way, way, way higher, because we don't have certain programs that cushion us when things go wrong. So if you can solve for financial wellness, which is now the first layer that we are talking about towards financial empowerment, as we move into now real products like, better stores of value, and products like wealth management products like money market funds, and making them available, addressing the issue of reach, access, and democratization, which is what I'm going to close with, which is now a trend that is very much known, the trend around democratizing access and commoditizing. Because once you innovate, then the next thing you have to be able to do is to democratize access and to commoditize. Then you're able to achieve scale. If you cannot democratize access, you cannot commoditize, then you'll never be able to achieve scale. But let's come back to the issue of financial wellness. How many of you have ever taken a financial wellness test? Tell us about, just tell me exactly what were the 3 elements, if any, that you looked at.
So the first element was, do you do budgeting?
Okay.
Yes. Then after that, do you have anything you put aside for saving?
Okay.
And then the last one I can't remember.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else who's done financial wellness test? Okay, so what she has described is actually financial literacy that walks you through a continuum of financial freedom. And maybe the technology guys never expected me to speak about this, but if you the trend is not about the technology. That's been overplayed and that will be there, and my colleague will also speak about the cyber security trends. But if you understand to solve for the real problems of this world, then you can build the innovation and then understand the trends, and the way you correlate and sort of connect the dots is by looking at what's happening in the dailies. People will talk about it, what's happening within the industry, and the conversation, the direction that they're moving. So financial wellness, first and foremost, measures how well you sit as far as your net worth is concerned. How many of us here can tell us what their net worth is? You know your net worth? So you can't say it. So, and most of us don't want actually to say it. Yeah. But the minute you sit down and understand your financial net worth, it's your first step towards financial wellness. If you understood that today, that if you lost everything, you lose everything, and you lose your life, you confront that, then you'll begin to take action towards your financial net worth. Number 2, some people will run away from, you look at the net worth and you say, I pack it aside. So number 2 is, how well do you sit as far as your allocation of income is concerned? Forget about whether you have 1 million or 1 billion shillings. And it doesn't matter whether you're an organization or an individual. If you do not allocate your resources effectively, eventually the sickness will actually kill you. Kill your organization, will kill you as an individual. So if you get, let's say 10,000, 100,000 shillings, let me be more ambitious. If you're making 100,000 shillings a month, and the first thing that you do is to do what you pay for? What do you pay for? Your rent. So the first thing you do is to pay yourself. She really is a student of financial literacy. Pay yourself. So that diagnostic, the diagnostic we've just done here shows actually our financial wellness is seriously, even when you don't know that you're unwell but you don't know that you're unwell. So if you can help people come up with diagnostic tools to figure out their financial wellness, then they'll be able to take the next action towards appreciating financial empowerment. That's where the opportunity is. So once you pay yourself, which the recommended, the average recommended using the golden rule of personal finance and budgeting. So first, for the golden rule of personal finances, pay yourself first. The golden rule of budgeting is 20% towards savings and investments as a bare minimum in every single cycle of your earning. So if you make money on a monthly basis, 20% at least should go to investments and savings. Now, the other 30% can go into once here and there, but 50% should go into your fixed expenses. So what you must pay for. So if your expenses, if you're paying everything for rent and eating everything, you're extremely unwell financially. So if you can build solutions, and that's where the future is headed, then people will start to fix themselves and begin to address the issue of savings. Do you know that this week, we had the World Savings Day? Did you know that? Well, she would know. World Savings Day. Do you know that savings in the entire country, this country, 2 years ago, was sitting at a miserable less than 5%. Less than 5% in the entire country. And less than 2 million accounts had over 100,000 shillings. Does it worry you? Yeah. So if you can build solutions, the trend, I'll share this for you with free read everything, the financial innovation trend, if you can solve for financial literacy so that people can know it, and then move to protecting and not just being so casual, leaving the banks using your money to make money. Yeah. And then know how to grow it. Then you will start seeing a take rate and an increased adoption of financial empowerment products, which is the future. Because financial inclusion is saturated. The future is financial empowerment. But you cannot achieve scale unless you commoditize and unless you democratize access. That is why we must continue building solutions for Africa on mobile, to be able to democratize access and to be able to commoditize. Commoditization means being able to price for the 40 bottom of the pyramid. And therefore, you also play in the space that we not only talk about inclusion and empowerment, but we're also talking about playing in a space that everybody is focusing on, including the Sustainable Development Goals, in focusing on the bottom 40, because that's where democratization and the commoditization actually happens. So think about the pricing, and today, most of the wealth management products are actually built for the high net worth individual and organizations. If you can understand how to crack the whole continuum from knowing, growing, being able to protect it, growing it, and preserving it, and then be able to crack the pricing model to be able to democratize both access from using mobile platforms, but also from a pricing perspective, and crack commoditization, you will have cracked the next wave of financial innovation. So focus on know it, grow it, protect it, and preserving wealth. And if you can build solutions for that, I guarantee you, you will be part of the next wave that is financial empowerment that stands with financial wellness. And I'd like to stop there and wish you well for the rest of the event. Thank you.
Let me ask all of us to be upstanding so that we can appreciate our chief guest for such a wonderful, wonderful presentation. Let's put our hands together and appreciate our... So DVC answer, we have to pay ourselves first before. Please take your seats. Thank you very much, Madam Nancy. Your presentation was academically challenging and intellectually stimulating. You have spoken to the heart and soul of KCA University because we are a business and technology university. That today was dedicated to technology, the fintech, but you have brought it up in a very, very innovative way. You know, linking business and technology in a manner and way that has left us yearning for more. We look forward to inviting you here many, many more times. And as the DVC as I said earlier, as a distinguished member of the University Council, apart from advancing the work of the University Council, we really don't take it for granted that you are always available, even on short notice, to come and share with us the wealth of experience that you have. I want to ask the audience to give our chief guest one more round of applause. In the spirit of KCA University, we have a little token here to give our chief guest. And we encourage all of us to find some time to walk and look at the exhibition stands. There's a lot going on, both inside the hall and outside the hall. So, Dean, Research, Innovation and Outreach, you can step forward. I'll ask my senior DVC Academic and Student Affairs to also step forward so that we can appreciate our chief guest this morning. Madam Nancy, if you can also step forward. Thank you. That's right.
So we can ask the UMB members, Patricia, Michael, to join in the photo. Kindly, any UMB member present. UMB members, kindly join the photo. Smile, smile, smile. FinTech, FinTech. Thank you, thank you. So we can also have the DataSec Africa to join the photo. Yes, kindly. So thank you very much. So as Nancy Maritimo takes a walk around, I will ask that for the students you remain sitting for the next session. So welcome, Groni, to pick up there.
Thank you very much. We want to go to the next session. We want to invite Anti-Counterfeit SCA to make a presentation. I'm told you are here. SCA, our partners. Where are you? Okay, thank you, thank you. It's our pleasure now to invite our next guest speaker, Ms. Gladys Njiru. Ms. Gladys Njiru is the CEO of DataSec Africa to handle the topic of cyber security. Let's put our hands together as she comes on the stage. Thank you very much. Madam Gladys, welcome. Welcome. Yes. One more time, let's put our hands together for her. Thank you very much and feel welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. Good. At least I like the energy. So while they are still connecting, I'd like to greet you all. Good morning again. Someone told me that when you don't know how to greet in order, you say all protocols observed. So all protocols observed. I hope you are well and ready to learn about this topic of cybersecurity and data privacy. So I want to introduce myself. My name is Gladys Njiru. I'm the CEO of DataSec Limited. DataSec Limited, just as you see the names combined, it's data and sec for security. So all we do is secure information and data. Now, the speaker who has come before me, she has spoken about money, 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 and having your money, in the bank, literacy and all that. But for us now, we talk about the thieves of your money, the people who want you to gather the money and they come for it, and how to deal with them. So the presentation I'm about to make is just about cybersecurity and data privacy. How many people have had some interaction with cybersecurity? Let me start from there. Wonderful. How many more? Any cybersecurity training courses in KCA University? Not yet. So very few people have been interacting with cybersecurity, and to be honest, it's one of the, it's not a very old kind of learning in the country now. I think I've been in this space for around 14 years now, and the first 6 years, we still never had graduates out of school coming out with cybersecurity degrees. But these days we appreciate the fact that now we have so many universities offering this course, which is a good thing. We need to clap for our education sector. Something good is coming up. So when it comes to cybersecurity, these days we actually don't say cybersecurity because cybersecurity is a very limited kind of space. We talk about information security. And the difference between the two is that when you talk about information security, you are addressing the entire information. But when you talk about cybersecurity, you are more limited to talking about the information that is found in digital devices. You know, things like laptop, things like phones, your iPads and all that. But information security talks about information in general. And we have to secure every information, including the information that you have in your head, isn't it? The one that you interact with the other people. So we are talking about cybersecurity and data privacy in the fintech industry, but we don't want to limit ourselves to, you know, just the fintechs only. But we want to talk about the entire financial sector when it comes, what to do when it comes to information security. I don't know why it's not moving. Can come and you can come and assist me. I don't know why it's not. Let's see this one. Okay, good. So who is DataSec? One of the things that we do for organizations is we've been in operation from 2014, and basically what we do is help organizations to build what we call best practices for cybersecurity and information security. Then we also deal with other areas of business, like business continuity, disaster recovery, data privacy, IT governance, and risk management. So that is who we are. Now, as we all know, that mobile money and payment gateways, when you talk about the fintech space, is one of those spaces that are always, cybersecurity is very important when it comes to those places, because a lot of times when we do innovations, we don't even have security in mind. Yeah. So when it comes to security of any innovation or any industry, when it comes to the financial industry, then it means that employing cybersecurity frameworks is very, very important and very, very vital. Why? Because while we are busy creating wealth and creating applications that can help us to while we are busy creating all these applications, then again, the space of security is also growing, because there are so many areas that there are gaps, and there are so many people out there who just want to leverage on these gaps and ensure that they can steal the data, or if possible, they can be able to possess the finances that are within those applications. But then, let's look at the entire space when it comes to the fintechs. My colleague has just spoken about so many things around here. The innovations that are here in Kenya, especially when it comes to the fintechs. If you think about the fintechs industry in Kenya, it has really grown. And every time you always have new technologies coming up. And why is this? It's because when I look at you, just like her, I can say I was once 18, but when I was 18, I was not in the technology space. But what now you're doing is that we have such young, brilliant minds that have come up, isn't it? And we are all very innovative. And Kenya, luckily, is one of those countries where we have been able to come up with very serious innovations when it comes to the space of fintechs. Like the whole history of M-Pesa, we know that M-Pesa was born and birthed here in Kenya. And therefore, Kenya has become one of those countries where people actually come for benchmarking when it comes to innovation. So I'm very proud of what KNCA University is doing right now, because you're helping the young people to come up with real innovations, for the future. So when we appreciate, and we appreciate things like the mobile money, yeah? How many people don't have mobile money here? Because if I ask how many have, everybody will lift up their hands. How many do not operate on mobile money right now? Yeah? I'm surprised that nobody does not that. Everybody is operating on mobile money right now. Actually, from Kenya to Africa and to the whole world. Yeah, and then we also have what we call payment gateways. Yeah, these payment gateways have come up. Yeah, and as we continue to progress, you will realize that even banks now prefer not to have everybody going to the bank. How many people have internet banking on their phones? How many people are doing internet banking? Just lift up your hands. You want to, wow, internet banking. So are you saying all of us, the rest of us, are going to the branches with checkbooks and withdrawing money? Yeah? It's either we have an internet banking platform, or maybe we have applications, isn't it? Mobile banking platforms that connect to your banks, you have that, isn't it? Yeah, so these are the areas that we are talking about when we come to the fintech spaces, and we appreciate the growth that is going there. But then we want to ask ourselves, what is cybersecurity? What exactly is it? And we are saying that it is a practice, yeah, of protecting vital information. You as a person, or also as an organization. Now, organizations take very serious measures when it comes to protecting information and their data. Why? Because they know that the loss of any information could lead to, reputation damage. It could even lead to loss of money, yeah? And sometimes it could also lead to what we call penalties and fines that you do not expect, yeah? So in the fintech industry, it is always good to ask yourself, even when you're doing any kind of innovation, ask yourself, the information that I am holding, is it confidential? Is it one that has integrity? And is it available when I need it? There's something that we call the CIA, yeah? And CIA means that whenever you check your information, you have to ensure that this information has to keep its confidentiality. You don't want the person next to you to know what information you are carrying, yeah? Sometimes people talk about passwords and all these things. I want someone to tell me, maybe I'll ask one of the people in the room right now, what is the hardest password that you have ever put? I will not ask the young people because they will tell us that one that we cannot be able to understand. Maybe let me ask, because you are smiling, the hardest password that you have ever put. 10 characters? That's the 10 characters. You know, I want to hear a real one. Don't tell me the one you're using right now. A real password that you have ever put. An example. Don't tell us the one you're using right now. Otherwise, we'll come for you. Yes.
What I did is basically to pick some characters here and there, one of which Kanyaga Mguu Twende, then I had to pick some characters from there, added some special characters to it to add up to 10.
You said Kanyanga Mguu?
Of course, yes.
Oh, okay.
That time I was working.
Oh, wow. Can you clap for him? Kanyanga Mguu Twende, isn't it? How many can even guess such a kind of a password? Yeah? When you're thinking about maybe hacking him, you will think about his name, isn't it? Or maybe his children's name and all that. But it's very difficult for you to just be imagining Kanyanga Mguu Twende, isn't it? So what we are trying to say is that whenever you're thinking about information, you're looking at confidentiality and you're wondering, what is it that I can do that nobody can guess or be able to come and get into the information that I'm holding? Those are when we talk about strong passwords. But also we are asking ourselves, when it comes to integrity, we are talking about information not changing, you know, the way you put it, you know, the way you did your SE, it arrives to where it should arrive without being changed at all. And of course, availability. Information being available whenever you need it. And data privacy. I want to hear from you what data privacy is all about. Yeah? So these days we have what we are calling the Data Protection Act. Yeah? That has come in Kenya now. We call it Kenya DPA. Yeah? And it talks about protecting personal information. And personal information usually is not protected by you yourself. We are talking about protecting, maybe the organization protecting your own personal data. Yeah? So data privacy revolves around an act that gives us rules and regulations on how to ensure that personal information that you are holding is what? Is secured. Yeah? That's, now, for example, in this case, let's say the university needs to reach to a point whereby the information that you have given to them remains under very strict security measures. Not that you have information here and all of a sudden this information is everywhere. So right now, as we speak, we have an office in Kenya that is called the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner that now defines how each and every person, each and every organization must handle information of people that they are holding. That is what data privacy is all about. Now, and why is it important then for organizations and for us, especially when you're doing innovations, especially fintechs, to ensure that we have to secure the information that we are holding? One, if people know that if I give this organization my information, it is going to leak, you lose your reputation. That is one of the biggest challenges that we have. That we lose our privacy if we are going to this organization. So what happens is that we always want to withdraw back from organizations that we are not very sure that our information is safe with them. So these are some of the challenges. And so there are also consequences. Right now, there are fines that are attached to anybody who does not handle personal information very carefully. And then what are we talking about? If, again, someone comes and takes that information that you're holding, you will find that you lose even the finances by themselves. Right now we are working with a lot of banks in the country. And if there's anything banks are worried about, is not only being able to lose money, but also being able to lose a lot of data. Because we always say that actually data itself is more expensive than money. So right now, there are people who are just seated somewhere and all they are trying to do is see how they can make some money out of maybe financial organizations, fintechs included. So financial losses are key areas that will make you to want to be very careful when it comes to cybersecurity. And of course, the clients. If you have customers, if you're having a certain information and you want the head user to be a person, you have to make sure that that information is very secure, because if it is not, then nobody wants to associate with you. And finally, as I said before, you have to comply. Yeah, right now almost all the fintechs are complying. They are regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya, including banks. So there are some kind of guidelines that will be given that you must comply. And then, of course, if you don't comply, consequences have to follow. Like for example, right now, if someone holds your data and does not take care of it, there are even fines, yeah, that come about. I think it's about 5 million. 5 million and above, or at least, is it a fifth of your revenue? I can't remember, depending on which one is more. So if the organization has made a turnover of over 100 million, they will go maybe for the 5 million instead of the percentage. So depending on how much it is very heavy penalties that come about when you don't handle the information very well. So in your innovations and in your fintechs, you must be asking yourself, is this data that I have, am I keeping it in the right way? And then, of course, there are many challenges. Why do you think cybersecurity has become one of those challenges that people don't want to, even to invest on, yeah? Because they always feel that there are issues that cannot be achieved. People always think that having a proper infrastructure when it comes to cybersecurity is very expensive. Why? Because, of course, it's true. You have to invest more. Yeah? If you're doing a simple innovation, you have to invest more again and ensuring that you're going to ensure that thing is also well secured. So infrastructure costs become one of the major challenges that we have. And of course, the human factor. Let me tell you something. The human factor is the greatest risk when it comes to cybersecurity. Even though you have the best technology, you will be surprised that most of the people will not keep the secret. In Kenya, I know we are very generous. Now I know his password is what was the password? Kanyanga Mugu Twende, isn't it? And then I'll be telling everybody, Kanyanga Mugu Twende is his password. Quote and said that, my Facebook account was hacked. The person will say, I'm not the one. And there was nothing really to prove that this is a person that is impersonating you. Yeah? You see in Facebook, or even in Instagram, you can have a name and someone else can have the same name, isn't it? So it's very easy for someone else to just come and create a name and call herself Gladys. Haven't you seen that a lot with celebrities, isn't it? You find a celebrity has an account and there are like 10 accounts with the same name, okay? So there is no that, you cannot actually even take that person to court. And sometimes you don't even know who exactly is it that is holding that account. So they'll be posting as if it's the same person that is holding that account. But then in the end of the day, you realize it's a totally different person. So these are some of the challenges that we are having right now, because the legal framework has not really come out to defend, the cybersecurity space. And then, of course, they have many solutions, so many solutions. And a lot of solutions are very technical. So we have technical solutions, and we also have solutions which are not technical. Most of them are about to do with compliance. So now, what are some of the technical solutions? I want to hear from the students. The ones who said they have interacted with cybersecurity. Any technical solutions that you have that can curb security breaches? Wow, the room is very quiet. So we have what I would call, yes?
For instance, when you're developing a particular software or system,
yeah,
you use a platform that is more secured. Most recently, we've heard of blockchain, so
yeah,
it will ensure that your systems and the data for the customers and everyone is safe.
Let's clap for him. At least he's talking about blockchain. Anything else? Even before you go to blockchain, how many people know about a simple thing that you use on your machine, the simplest, that you cannot do without it on your machine for protection? Just one thing, the simplest. That one you have to tell me. Yes? What? A password is the simplest, isn't it? Very good. Now, another one, that's a solution that you deploy actually, because a password is something that you just create. The simplest on your own, machine. How many people have heard of an antivirus? Antivirus. Yeah, that's just what I was looking for. You know, as simple as an antivirus, it's one of the simplest layers of protection, you know, just ensuring that your machine is protected. So we have technical solutions, and some of the technical solutions that we have things like antiviruses. How many people have heard about, isn't it? So we have firewalls, we have other solutions. As you know, as organizations become bigger and bigger, they have even bigger investments. You know, there are things that we call like a SIM technology, just something that you deploy on these machines for you to be able to monitor what is happening on the space, yeah? So those are very technical. Then we have other things like what we call the data loss prevention. There are so many things, yeah? So now, maybe because you're still students, some of them may not, you know, may not make a lot of sense right now, but for those in organizations, they're always working on them every now and then. You know, the antivirus, you cannot do without it. You cannot do without a firewall. You cannot do without a DLP. You cannot do without a SIM for monitoring. Some organizations have reached to a point where they have a full SOC, you know, where they're just monitoring the activities that are happening right now. So you don't want to wait until the hacking has taken place. Instead, you deploy some solutions that will be able to make you to see at real time when someone is trying to get into your network. That is what is happening. And of course, then we have other solutions which are not necessarily technical. You know, it's just solutions that you use before. We always say prevention is better than cure, isn't it? So if prevention is better than cure, what does that mean? It means that before that happens, there are some measures you can do to ensure that doesn't happen. You know, something like a password is a very easy way of preventing, helping you to prevent something to happen. Yeah, a hard password, like what you were talking about, 10 characters. You know, by the time someone is able to guess over 10 characters, it's very difficult. So there are those solutions that we use which are not necessarily technical, but they are more of compliance and governance. So, and I've stated some of them. So of course we have frameworks like which are released by ISO, another one that we call NIST, you know, COBIT. They might be a bit complex right now, but these are some of the solutions that we have right now that we can use. So for example, like how many have what we call the International Standards Organization. They will define a framework on how to ensure when you're developing any software, for example, that you must follow. Those are very important. It's like now, all the fintechs are now regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya. So what the Central Bank of Kenya will do, they will give guidelines that for this one to happen, you must do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah? So following those frameworks is very important, because when you follow those frameworks, because they are well researched on, we call them actually best practices. And these best practices help organizations. When you follow them, then you minimize what would actually happen. Yeah? The frameworks help you to prepare for anything that can happen before, because when they come, they bring governance. And of course, also in data privacy, we have many frameworks. Right now, we have what we are calling the Data Protection Act. I don't know whether anyone has read that act. Has anyone read that act? Anyone? Nobody has read that act. It's good that you go and look at that act, especially if you know you're going to do any innovation. And also if you know you're going to be in the IT space for long. Because one simple breach like this can cause a lot of harm. So that act has come to help a lot, because initially people would just have your data and move around with it, you know. People would take a photo of you and spread it all over, but right now you cannot do that, yeah. Initially people would come, take your data, you know, the date of birth, the day you were born and all that, and just be, you know, be trading it, yeah. I don't know whether you have ever seen, I remember there's a time where we used to have these mobile lenders, and one time I was called and I was told, you need to tell your friend to pay our loan. Did you ever have such an experience, yeah? People go and borrow money, and then they have said, allow, you know, just, you know, innocently, because you want to get that loan from Tala, isn't it? And then now you just say, do you want us to call the people in your phone book? You just say allow, because you want to finish this transaction quickly so that you can get the money, isn't it? Little do you know that if something happens, now they can access your phone book and they'll be calling everybody. And that happened to me. I was being called and I was being told, you need to tell so-and-so to pay our loan. Then I'm asking myself, one, how did you get my data? And how do you know that, you know, we need to be there with, I know this person. So now this kind of things cannot happen anymore, because now the law does not allow you to actually ask people to give access to to the phone book and the people in your phone. Because if they call me right now, I have a right to even to sue them and ask them, how did you get my personal data? So why you need to know this act? Because it has displayed all the things that you cannot do. Yeah? Initially, people would just have the information of children all over. Now you cannot do that. So that is very important. Of course, this act came from, you know, the bigger acts all over the world. We have something that we call the GDPR. That used to be
the insightful presentation of Madam Gladys is very insightful. That cannot go without a comment from the students, staff. So you can raise your hand. We have our team here will give you the microphone to. You can also make an observation, comment, or a question. Yes, thank you. You can.
I would like to make a comment where you did say that people is the weakest link in security.
Yes.
Precisely, there are many ways information can be gotten from the people around the organization, which I believe you are an expert in that.
Yeah.
Which we may call social engineering.
Yeah.
So whereby you pick a read from the most junior staff in your organization, ask 1-2 questions innocently. That particular staff could be revealing so much information about your organization. If the same runs on the wrong hands, you will be spilling a lot of secret about the organization.
Yeah.
Then the other thing will be, how do you dispose the little things we are used to? Sometimes you might be picking some little pieces of paper and writing very sensitive information without knowing. How do you dispose that? So that is an observation I wish to put across.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's very insightful. As he says, that human factor actually is the weakest link. And he has talked about what we call social engineering. Now, social engineering, as he has explained, is whereby you now come and talk to someone. Sometimes organizations give us work to do what we call assessments, and they let us do whatever it takes to get into their system. So we call it a security assessment, what we call a pen test or a red team assessment. And that is one of the ways that we use to see if we can get into the systems of these organizations. Of course, as ethical, we don't just come to people's organizations. They have to give us permission to do the testing. Social engineering is usually the weakest links, and there are so many ways, yeah? Like as you're saying, you can talk to a junior staff and entice them, especially when you leave university right now and you are new in the work and you don't know how things operate there, and people can easily come and trick you and tell you, okay, and you'll be maybe working in an IT department holding vital information, and people will come and trick you and tell you, okay, for this amount of money, I can give you and just get me maybe the password of the CEO, something like that. And because you're a system admin and maybe you have some access of that kind of information, then you find yourself selling the entire organization. Sometimes people use what we call the love, I don't know the best way to use it, yeah? A young, beautiful girl working in the help desk somewhere, and people come and tell you, you are very beautiful, yeah, can I take you for a coffee? And then they have a way of just being able to get the information that you have. You might either tell them willingly, or sometimes they can just put some devices in your laptop and they can get that information. So it's very good for us to be very careful. And one of the ways to mitigate that is why organizations, every day and now, they are always doing what we call employee awareness. You have to train your employees, you have to train the staff, and you have also to train the students to tell them that when you see this kind of thing, do not do that, especially when it comes to links. Sometimes someone will write for you a very beautiful email and they have put a link there and they'll tell you, you have won, you start running. I have just been told by Safaricom that I have won a house, isn't it? You see, when people call you and we say that they are calling us from committee, that is what is called social engineering. And they tell you, click this number, and then they call you with a voice there. Habari yako, umepata hiyo namba imekuja hapo. So you will be thinking, okay, now, can you set that number to me? And so many people have been conned in a very simple way. Yeah? So it's very good for you to be very alert, yeah? Not to give personal information. So that is what is called social engineering. And then he has also talked about, what was the other thing that you talked about that was very important after social engineering? The disposal of those things. Sometimes just having a paper moving around here, you could give a lot of information. You know, by this simple program, everybody can know who is a VC. It's not bad, but sometimes there's some information that you don't want to give out there. And that's why sometimes in the organization, we have what we call, you know, labeling of information, yeah? When you get, you know, in some organization, they'll be asking you, what kind of information is this? Is it confidential? So that if it is confidential, it does not go to every hand out there. Yeah, if it is public information, it can go to everybody. And if it is very secret, then again, when you're done with it, instead of disposing it all over, you can be able to come and shred it. So that kind of shredding and classifying information is very important, because some information is public, like these brochures are public, yeah? But you don't want other information that is discussed in the board to go out there and be known by everybody. So you have to label it and say that this one is only meant for this kind of people. Any other comment before I go? Maybe the last comment or question? Yes. Yes, at the back.
Hello, hi.
Hi.
I'm a student in KCS Cybersecurity. So I had a question.
Yeah.
You see, they thought cloud platform are not exploitable. So what can you say about, what can you tell them about cloud platform being exploited, in that you find whereby you've put some data or you want to run your machines, and you find you can't access it through the OS, or you find like your data is lost. So what can you tell them? Because people are losing trust now in cloud security, in that they thought it's not exploitable.
Thank you. That's a very good point. And cloud, we now have cloud security, because that was just a thought, that cloud is not exploitable. And luckily, I've actually come with my colleague here, Morgan, who is our compliance manager, and has been dealing a lot with cloud security. Maybe, Morgan, you can just tell us some insights that you have about cloud security, because that's a very interesting space that everybody thinks is safe, but unfortunately, it is not.
So my name is Morgan. I work together with Addison at DataSec. So we do a lot of information and cybersecurity. So just like blockchain, what you've been told is really, I mean, really can't be hacked. I mean, cloud, that was a fallacy. Cloud, any information on the internet can be hacked, truly. It's just a matter of time and expertise. But what organizations have done over the years to secure the cloud, when you get into an agreement with the cloud provider, there are layers of responsibility. So there are layers of responsibility for the organization, and there are layers of responsibility for the cloud, for example. So if you're talking about physical security, then the cloud will be in charge of that, the physical security of the servers. And then you're talking about the physical machine itself, so the cloud provider will be responsible for that. But on top of that, now you'll put your applications. So there are different layers of security. So while you'll put your applications and the access to those applications, then you will be responsible for protecting those applications. So you'll be putting technologies, for example, two-factor authentication. You'll be putting technologies like, for example, identity management and control, while you as a client will require the cloud provider, for example, to provide for you information on how they protect the physical security of the servers, servers themselves. That would include things like cameras, you know, I mean, right of entry, authorization requirements, and so on. So those are the controls that you could have. But the thought that cloud or any information in the internet cannot be accessed or hacked is truly a fallacy. So as we said before, technology has become really robust in the world. There are quite a number of technologies. Right now we are doing red team and pen tests and different infrastructures and different banks and organizations. And it's really hard to hack because technology has really improved. So as we say, the human factor is really the weak link where all this is concerned. Whether it be how you manage your passwords, whether it be how sensitive you are towards the phishing emails that come in, the phishing emails that you receive, whether it be how sensitive you are to the information that you have, intellectual property, all this information that you have about KCA, about where you live, about where you're going to work, is information that can truly be used against you. How you use your identity in the internet is also very important. So for example, do you write everything about where I'm going to, your patterns in life, and so on and so forth. So these things are very important, and they can be used truly against you, because I can have a digital twin of you, digital identity of you, digital twins. You've heard about digital twins? You've heard about digital twins? Yeah, and I can use the digital twins to commit nefarious activities, okay? So these are some of the things that you could, when you keep in mind as a human being, you know, as a weakest link. I, as a weakest link, I'm the person who probably will be the entry to, I'll be the entry point to which nefarious activities will happen to my organization, even to my family, okay?
Thank you, Morgan. I hope that was well answered. There's nothing like safe on cloud. There has to be an intentional plan to keep it safe. So I think that is it for now. We can, yeah, there's one comment.
My name is Wanjiko, and I'm sorry I came late. There was crazy jam Bagadi way. I'm a lecturer at SOT, and I don't know whether it has been covered, but students, when they are doing their project and they come up with very beautiful projects, and they ask me a business idea. If I go to discuss maybe somewhere in the industry, and then maybe you're in the boardroom, you share your idea, they ask you the questions, and after some time, the people who are asking you, they hijack your idea. I don't know whether it has been covered. How do we protect our students' work if they have to be able to make money out of that after sharing it maybe with an industry or something like that? Thank you.
You want to handle that?
So the question is protecting your ideas or your intellectual property when you're working, when you're having your ideas presented to industry, yeah? That's the question. So, I mean, it's an important question. I'll start right from an organization level. So whenever, this is what some organizations would do whenever they have people working for them. So you use their time, you use their computer, okay? You use their facilities. So what we have, they would have what we call intellectual property waivers. So you waive, so that means you would give the organization any idea or any concept that you come up with, using their time, using their money, using their resources, using their time and their resources, basically. So back to now where you are at with industry, my recommendation is to have non-disclosure agreements, okay? Non-disclosure agreements, and then agreements to protect your intellectual property, okay? Those will be agreements that you should have beforehand. So my recommendation is to talk to your legal counselors. You can come up with a template of an intellectual property agreement, an non-disclosure agreement, so that before you discuss these ideas with industry, then industry will sign. Okay, so industry, an organization has to sign before those discussions take place. So that's what I would agree.
Yeah, thank you. Even you can actually, it's called the copyright. Is an organization that you can actually protect you can patent your work. So before you even, I know that used to happen a lot, especially with innovations. So when you're just about to discover something, especially the software and all that, and you come and share with people, and sometimes even you can give the code that you are using, and then they go ahead and do it before you and make money out of it. So the best way is to go make sure that you have copyright of your work. So that now, and when you're giving it to anybody, they must sign what he's talking about, an NDA. You know, sometimes it is, even when you have all these contractual agreements with people, it is not guarantee that they will still not break it. But usually when you have everything put in place, you have the patent, you know, already registered, you have your copyright, everything done, then it is very easy for you to fall back and say that this was my original idea, because as you can see, it's already registered, you know. So I think this, especially for people who are doing, you know, development, this is very important, yeah, for you to make sure that you put everything in place, have everything under copyright and patent it, that nobody can now use it against your will. Even if they do, then you have a right to go back and, you know, sue them and, you know, take them and take action over them. Yeah.
So let me just ask a question. When a student designs something that has not been designed before, so who does the patent belong to, the university or the student?
So I'm called Brian, I do software development. From a training in school, they say that first of all, there should be a policy by the school. So they might have some guidelines on how, if for instance, you use the resources, in the agreement from the school, it can have like a line in the policy that says, as long as you use the resources, actually the project belongs to us, maybe by means of percentage or full, or yeah. So it depends.
Very good.
So I think those are things that should be agreed, as you say, thank you. Those are things that should be agreed on beforehand, so that it is clear when before a student designs something, what are the legal liabilities. So that's something that should be agreed beforehand, either by signing, you know, and just having these things in place beforehand. Otherwise, then it'll come back to bite you when someone has designed something that is really good, that's going to market, and you want it and the student wants it. So
yeah, thank you very much, Morgan. So that is very important. Just know that if you are employed somewhere and you are employed as a software engineer, whatever you discover does not belong to you. It belongs to the organization, because they are paying you to get creative and come up and develop something. But if you're doing it on your side, on yourself alone, that is where now you have to ensure that you protect your intellectual property. So otherwise, thank you very much. I don't see like there's any more comment. So wow, thank you.
Thank you for the insightful lecture. I have about 3 questions. One is about the Data Protection Act. I saw the Judicial Service Commission advertising jobs. Actually, after they shortlisted, they actually gave details of those who had qualified, including the national ID number, so much detail that a fraudster can use to defraud the people that have qualified, which goes against the Data Protection Act. And now here we are talking about the Judicial Service Commission, where if you sue, you will go to them. So how do we differentiate? How do we follow this up? Number 2 is the issue of insider threats, where you have employees and the data is leaking from inside, and in the process, because for example, for every bank heist, there's always an insider, either technical or non-technical, but releasing the information. How do you protect your information from those insiders? Number 3 is the young people that are tech savvy. We have seen a lot of cases where DCI is always profiling the young people who have technology, but you realize that crime has become a service. It's a profession now in terms of cybersecurity, especially cyber crimes. And you see most of the people who are caught are young people who are tech savvy, but the main people behind the crimes are the financiers that really never get caught. What do you advise the young people that are tech savvy to not to get into those crimes, yet they are always broke? Thank you.
Yet they are always broke. That's very interesting. I'll handle 2. I'll handle the one for the data protection and the one for the young people. Then Morgan, you can talk about insider threats. So number 1, I don't know, one thing that the Data Protection Act is something that we call consent. And sometimes people sign this consent without knowing how their data will be used. Yeah? So what we need to find out is if the Judicial Commission had asked these people that they can share this information in the public. Now, if you had signed consent, it doesn't matter how much information you had given, it can be used. Because the pillars, one of the pillars of the Data Protection Act is that people who you are using their data must agree to it. And sometimes we sign all this consent without knowing. Sometimes you'll be asked, can we use your data for advertising? And people just say yes. You know, you just tick that box. And you have all those rules like 1 to 100, and you don't want to read everything. And because you're in a hurry, you just tick that box. But inside those prints, there are some things that probably you have accepted. Maybe you have accepted, maybe you have accepted that you can allow them to use your data for advertising. Then when your data is used, you get surprised what happened. So right now, I cannot say what the Judicial Service Commission kind of agreement they had with those people. But if at all there was no consent, then that's a breach. And just as you're saying, and as I said before, the laws and the regulations in Kenya sometimes are very tough because you're not sure if, even if you go to court, how you're going to compete against, you know, something like Judicial Service Commission. So right now we can only say that we hope that these people had given consent. But if they had not, then we will say that that is a breach. The other question about the tech survey, I would just to tell you, because all of you here, the way you look are very young. I think 99%, everybody is very young. And there is that feeling of wanting to get quick, you know, quick money quickly. Yeah? And then you will hear that by just, you know, engaging yourself in this kind of crime, that you will make money. And for sure you can make money. But I always ask myself, for how long? And sometimes, as young as we are, we can lose a whole life ahead of us just because of simple, you know, I can call them, you know, foolish mistakes of wanting to get money quickly. Because let me tell you, a fact is this. Right now, if you tried hacking any bank in Kenya, chances are you will be caught. And I'm telling you, as a service provider to probably all the banks in Kenya, if we come and investigate, we will catch with you. We'll catch up with you. Now, if you are caught right now, you will go to jail, and then now your entire career is finished. Now, how old can you be? Maybe you are probably 22, 23, 24. Me, I am above that. Maybe add 20 more years from that. The life ahead of you is sweeter and better, yeah, than the one you have right now. You can spoil your entire life, you know, by just wanting to make things very quickly. You know, let me tell you, if you have this tech savvy ability, I wish you could go and look for a job, because there's a lot of opportunities for people in the security space. And do it ethically, and you will get money. We have all these hackathons where people are testing their abilities to, you know, to be able to hack. And these have given young people an ability to do it genuinely. There's some banks actually right now we speak, I think I&M had this kind of a service where they were saying, come, let's see the talents that we have. And they would absorb them in their organization. So why don't we try that, as opposed to trying to get that 10 million, and tomorrow you're in court, but you know, you won't get a good conduct, you cannot get any jobs in Kenya, then your life is finished once and for all. So that would be a form of advice. As to whether the advice is usually taken, that is usually the problem. Yeah, you can give, I have children like you, I can give them advice, but whether they will obey it is usually a big problem. Now Morgan, you can handle the issue of insider threats, and then we can move from there.
I'm so fast to answer the question regarding, just to speak onto the question regarding students, young people like you guys hacking into gaining access to unauthorized systems. How many know about bug bounty programs? Bug bounty? You know bug bounty? Yeah. Bug bounty programs. So bug bounty programs are organizations that decide to call out for anyone in the world. If you would get a vulnerability in their systems, then you speak to them directly. Okay, so find out in Kenya which organizations allow, and you're paid quite a, so some organizations really pay good money. So you try to hack into their systems, and then if you find a vulnerability, there are channels which you can report the vulnerabilities, and if it's found to be yes, it was vulnerable, then you're paid money. So those are bug bounty programs. Find out which organizations in this country support bug bounty, and you can decide to partner with them. Okay, as a bug bounty white hacker. Okay, not a black hat, but a white hat hacker. So the other question is regarding insider threat. Now, insider threat is a pretty difficult problem to resolve. It's pretty difficult to resolve. The magnitude of which is really disturbing. So what organizations have tried to do, and when you go to organizations, we try to audit. We try to audit how the organization, or which information the organization has about you before they employ you. So that is called screening, employee screening. So that involves things like, police clearance certificate, calling your referees to find out where your ethical standing is at. So that deep background check about you is very important when someone is when looking for employment. So that makes you kind of scared, because where organizations are going to, they're going to be very strict about it. So what you post on the internet, your ideas, your fantasies, can make you lose a job. Okay, so we need to be very careful about what we post. So things are happening all over the world. Someone is shouting Israel, Palestine. Some of those things. Keep your opinion to yourself as much as possible. Yeah, talk to your friends and things like that. Yeah. Because those things come back to haunt you. Because when I profile you from the things that you've written. And you wrote it as an innocent person. Yeah? I mean, I was only 17 when I wrote this, but now I'm 30. This thing is still haunting me. Even job interviews, yeah. Because that's what I do. Before I get someone to work with us, I have to do a good profile. One of the places I start with is internet. What has she posted? What has he posted? And once something is on the internet, it's on the internet. Can't really get rid of it. Okay? Can't really get rid of it. So that's screening. So once someone is in the organization, what happens? Because people stay in the organization and they change. So there are technologies that I've read about, though I've not seen them in action. For example, technologies that include AI, artificial intelligence. They can scan your behaviors, your patterns, where you're searching. Your patterns in the internet. Okay, for example, if you search, have I searched today how to make a bomb or something? Have I searched how to hack? Have I searched how to use a particular kind of malware? Then probably it raises an alert score in the HR system saying that probably you should be interviewed or things like that. The other thing is awareness programs that enable the organization to be sensitized, to be able to know whether your employee is changing or whether your colleague is changing and moving into particular behaviors that are not really agreeable with organization policy. And then there are places in organizations where you can report anonymously. So for example, you can decide to say, I've seen this guy doing this and this, please check it out. That's anonymous reporting. So those are the measures that I'm seeing organizations take towards insider threat, though it's still a difficult problem. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I think that's the end of the questions, I hope. Right, thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much. We look forward to having a tech-savvy, ethical team from KCA University. I thought you will say amen or clap. Thank you.
Please call us for a round table.
Yes, we'll do that. Let's clap. Let's give them a round of applause. Yeah. Thank you very much indeed, Ms. Gladys Njiru. We really learned a lot from your insights, and I know our students keenly listening, our audience out there are listening, and so we know we'll improve in our knowledge around that area. So it's our custom to, give awards to our guests. So I would want to request Madam Wanjiku, our Dean SOT, and Mr. Onsomo to come up to award our guest. I request our brother, who was also responding to questions, to join your CEO for this very important session for us. As the award, please, let's clap one more time for her. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. We appreciate your sharing of knowledge to us. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so we have our partners who are with us here, Anti-Counterfeit. We just request that you come and share with us for 5 minutes. Yeah, please. Let's give her a round of applause as she makes her way up to the podium. Thank you.
Good morning. Hello. Can I ask everyone to stand up? Please, come on. It's only 11:30 and you said 5 minutes. Can I take 20? Can I take 20? No? Okay, please stay standing if you know what ACA means. ACA? Anyone? What does ACA stand for? ACA. Hello? You're not allowed. Anyone? I can't hear you guys. Go on. Thank you very much. Have a seat, everyone, please. I can see some faces were like, what? What's ACA? From Monday, we've been here, and we're very grateful for the invitation to come and just give a talk on what Anti-Counterfeit does. It's a government institution.
Let's be patient for a few minutes. We are finishing, so let's not leave. Let's just give them attention, and then we'll be able to finish.
Thank you very much. It's a government institution charged with combating counterfeiting. So counterfeiting is when someone is imitating your products. That especially is true. As I sat at the corner there, hearing the presentations on cyber security and fintech, I was like, so how is ACA going to get into this? And towards the end, thank you very much, Madam CEO and Morgan. I know you mentioned quite a bit on intellectual property. So that is where ACA comes into play. We are charged with enforcing intellectual property. So that will focus specifically on trademarks. These are items that have been registered, and the organization you are looking for is Kenya Industrial Property Institute, KIPI as we call them. They're charged with registering your trademarks, patents. They give you certificates such that when someone infringes on your intellectual property, we now come in to enforce your intellectual property, as we call them IPR. So we do this by way of enforcement. We have our enforcement team that are charged with conducting raids. They do seizures. They have full police powers, so they can get into any shop and confirm that the products that you have on display or selling are original and you're not trying to get other people's money under false pretenses. And then we have the department that is education and public awareness. So this one is charged with conducting sessions like these ones, where we talk to students, we talk to business organizations, we talk to our government institutions as well, so that they are also partners. Because by way of seeing as we are about 10 years old now, so we are yet to make a mark in the Kenyan marketplace. So we use KRA quite a bit. We have the powers for including Kenya Bureau of Standards, KEBS. We work with Pest and Control Board, the ones who are dealing with especially pesticides, because we find that there's a lot of that is being counterfeited as well. So that is what we have for you. Out there we have a stand, so you can come and interact with some of the products that we have on display, so you can really get to understand what this counterfeiting is. So with that, I'd like to end it there. I think I took less than 5 minutes, right?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, let's clap for her. And we appreciate you that. I want to take about 3 minutes kindly to invite CASNEB. CASNEB are our partners here, and they're with us. And we really need to listen to them in a brief. So please welcome and share with us.
Good morning. I know I've been sitting for long, since the very morning. My name is David Dibui, Senior Officer Examination CASNEB. Finally, after all that presentation, I think the best way to end the sessions is maybe to offer questions as an examination body, and maybe by the end of the day we award the best performer. But last said and done, because that's the business that we normally undertake. I can say I come from CASNEB, represent CASNEB. We have been partner with KCA for many, many years. And the management of CASNEB is, I think we are extremely busy this session, because you realize that CASNEB introduced 3 sittings for some time, since the time we had COVID, where we skipped some examination sitting. And also due to the introduction of examination, computer-based exam, for some time we have been able to administer the 3 sitting. And we have 1 month to exam. You can realize that getting someone to come and maybe also participate in this event, we have really sacrificed. We had a team that have been there, out there, from the time you started this summit. It has been talking to the student, updating student on more issue to do with CASNEB. That's why I will not take more time here. In case you have any issue regarding CASNEB, I encourage the student to visit our team out there. We have a desk at the exhibition place, so that we can give more detail. But let me say what is CASNEB, because most of you people, I realize most of you are from IT, but I believe there are still some who are also combining the IT with maybe other professional courses, because there is praise for these professional courses. Some are questioning whether the IT will ever replace maybe the human intervention, but I can say no, because even in the developed country, there is praise for these professional, accountants professionals. CASNEB has mostly linked with maybe accountancy, but I wish to bring to your attention that there are other professional qualifications, even in IT, that we examine as CASNEB. I mentioned that CASNEB is an examination body, and it's a government institution, for that matter. We have been in operation for many years. Technology has come, has found us. We started the manual way for over 50 years, you can tell. And also we are withering the charges of and the benefit that have been posed by the IT. And also with time, also CASNEB has been embracing IT. Because you see, when we introduced computer-based examination, it was in a way maybe also to embrace the need for IT. Remember during the COVID, it posed many challenges to many organizations, and also it brought disruption in the way many companies, many institutions were operating. So the management and the board decided maybe it was time to look for a better way, other ways of exploring how we could be administering our exam through the computer-based platform. And I can say since then, we have been administering exam in other areas, like for certificate levels, that has comes, and also in diploma level. And also the challenge that I had with students, some are fearing, because for the first time we've been able to release results for the diploma and certificate within a span of 1 week. And I remember talking to students in IBS, NYS, asking them now that because we are offering exam for diploma courses via the internet or the computer-based platform, it's possible to get instant result, and also it's possible to wait until you complete the last paper, then you get the result. I could see the students were a bit concerned, and because we don't want panic after you finish the first paper, the organization decided that maybe you'll be giving room after you finish the exam, maybe after a span of 1 week for those taking computer-based exam, that's when we are releasing our exam. But the other challenge also we are having as examination body, the IT infrastructure in our country, because this exam is conducted across country, almost in all the counties, and also outside the country. And there are other counties where we have challenge in terms of maybe electricity or even in terms of internet coverage. But for most of the center where we have CBE, we are trying to combine, maybe in some main towns where we can conduct our exam. But going forward, you see there's need to embrace the IT. I've learned some of the issues to do with maybe financial wellness. That's what I learned from the first session. And maybe I heard that many people are not able to answer whether they conduct their financial wellness, but I mentioned that in CASNEB we have a professional course that takes care of finance and investment. We call it CIFA. And maybe we could consider maybe querying the student on issue to do with financial wellness. And also to do with the data security and IT, we have courses that we offer in relation to data and IT courses. But that said and done, also you need to note that even if you are taking a degree course, there is a room for professional qualification. And that's why we come in as CASNEB. There is a big room for professional qualification because you realize when you join the job market, because I believe you are being packaged to fit in the industry. And the job market, when you join the job market, that's when you realize that apart now from the degree that you had, the employer also they are seeking to know whether you have the professional qualification. Of course, it acts as a linkage, as a vehicle to make you enroll or to join the various professional body. Like you have in your neighbor here, ISPAC, for those who become accountants. Apart now from having a BCom, you'll be required to have a professional qualification, that's to be a certified public accountant. That's the only ticket you can have more to get enrolled or to join as a member and to get the license to practice as an accountant. So CASNEB offers such opportunity. There are other professional courses we offer. And currently also we launched together with KEBS, that's Kenya Bureau of Standards. Recently we offered a qualification because we have an MOU, we are working with them. And also they needed to introduce a professional qualification in their field where they can train professionals in that quality assurance field. And for the first time in December 2023, we are going to offer the first exam for KEBS. They call it CQP, Certified Quality Professionals, at foundation level, because now they have just started. And that's what we are doing. Two, we are also conducting in line to make sure that we remain relevant as an examination body. From the various acts that regulate and gives CASNEB the mandate to operate, we have the power to develop the syllabuses, and that's where now we keep on revising our syllabus to capture what is happening across the globe, the world, because we are becoming a global village, noting that most of our students also they are seeking opportunity outside the country. We also realize that even some of the interview after the COVID, they are being done online. I'm also a beneficiary of online interview. I remember taking interviews somewhere, maybe for promotion or somewhere in our company, and I was away, far away in Mombasa, and the due date for interview was communicated when I was away, and I was to take the interview. So meaning I was to face the panelists when I was away from the institution. And I had now the same chance with those who are physically attending the interview. So the room for IT, it's wider. And you see also there are those doing it as the main course, because they are main areas of IT, like data security. You have had a company that deals only with the data security and other IT-related issues. There are also those of us who are taking IT as an enabler, because we're also taking other courses, like us who are professional accountants. And that's why we are coming to brief those professionals, those students who are taking other fields, other qualifications in other fields, that you still need these IT courses apart now from the main course you are taking, and also this professional course. That's why we have continually worked with KCA. This is also one of our examination center among the big centers we have in Nairobi, and also our computer-based examination center. So there are more details and many issues that we are doing as CASNEB in terms of computer-based exam, in terms of revising syllabus to make sure that we remain relevant. Recently, we also reintroduced a paper in business data analytics because the employers raised concern that the accountants that are being channeled out or who graduates, sometimes they find challenge when it comes to IT, and that's why the management found it necessary to introduce that paper in data analytics, which is covered by both the CPA and also those students who are taking finances, because they have their paper in IT, they call it financial data modeling. So those are some of the issues that I need to raise, that CASNEB, we are there, we enforce, and there is very major importance for you taking this course. Unlike during our time, because I think I finalized my CP in year 2001. During our time, we didn't have such a forum. And now with the changes that we're having, I'm proud of KCA, because also the management, they are taking time to bring the industry. You can hear from those who are in practice what is happening out there and what you need to equip yourself with so that you face the job market. And also, apart from being employed, you can use this now information you are getting also to employ yourself. So that's our take as CASNEB. I don't want to take more time. There's much you can learn about CASNEB. We have a very active website. You can get more detail because I believe you are tech savvy. You can get more detail about CASNEB from our website. And also, in case you want to register to know much about our courses, we have a desk that you still remain there in your exhibition area throughout the session that you'll be having during this summit. So I take this chance to say thank you for being attentive and listening. And CASNEB will always be there for you in case of any details that you need. We are based in Upper Hill. That's where our head office is. But also we have desks in Mene Huduma Center in Nairobi and outside. So thank you very much for your time, and God bless you.
All right, thank you very much. Let's give him a round of applause one more time. And we thank CASNEB for being our partner. Personally, I was a student of CASNEB, and so it's a good professional body. We had one of our guests from Huawei. Are you still there? Huawei? All right, thank you very much. Huawei? Yes, please just come for a minute or so. Yes, and share with us what you have. These are our partners, ladies and gentlemen. They support our course in innovation, and therefore when they find time to come with us, we always recognize them. Yes, so please welcome and introduce your team.
Hello everyone, my name is Mercy from Huawei. This is the UpCube team. So we have a tent outside, but Brian will take over and introduce the solution to us.
Thank you, Mercy. My name is Brian. This is Gulshan. She's also part of our team. She's part of the Huawei R&D in Turkey. So for us, currently we've come to present to you a solution called UpCube. This is a platform as a service, and this is a platform as a service that is meant to enable developers and even users who are not, who need some enablement in terms of tech. If you need, maybe you need to reduce the cost of development, you need to reduce the number of tools you use to develop and build, not just mini and small applications, but enterprise applications, applications that can be used in the real world. UpCube is a solution that Huawei has innovated, and we would like to invite university students as well to partner and join in and learn about this product, because it can help you in building solutions which you can use, which you can also sell, and also it can also help you in learning some development skills. Just in a few words, UpCube, the background of UpCube. UpCube is built on Huawei Cloud, so it's a cloud platform. It is used mainly for development, so you can use the low code. Low code means you create platforms by writing as little code as possible. So that is basically the essence of low code. So that is different from the traditional full code development, which you would end up using a lot of code to actually build a solution. So you would build a component using low code. You would also have some components that the cutting edge team in Huawei has built for you. So the components you would use together with the low code to build your applications, and therefore reduce the amount of time you would take to develop. So you could join us outside just for a word to check out what Upcube is about. We will be stationed somewhere on the stand, and we would be happy to have you join us and learn more about Upcube. Thank you.
All right, let's appreciate them. Let's appreciate them. Thank you, Huawei, for being our partners in this. So we are done with the first part of it. We are going to have a tea break, and then we'll come in later for the hackathon. So I want us to just have time to break now for tea. So you're free to go for tea. We are not ending by prayer because we will end at the end of the hackathon. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. And we can break for tea.
external from Moringa School. And I would like to introduce them so that at least we be aware who will be doing the assessment of your projects even as you present them. So I will invite the Moringa team and their lead to come and introduce the team of judges. Yeah, thank you and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hi guys, how are you all doing? Mtaki kuniongelesha vizuri? Hi, how are you guys doing? My name is Ian Okumu. I work at Moringa School. I do several things at Moringa School. One is I participate in training of software engineering students. Number two, I do also participate in a bit of our corporate classes. Yeah, sometimes, you know, people from Safaricom want to upskill. I'll be part of that in one way or another. I've come with my team, and I just I'd like them to say hello before I say any other thing. So my team members, you can tell us what you do. Yes, so welcome to the stage. Tunaweza wapigia makofi.
Hello. Okay, I'm Maingi Samuel, a technical mentor in Moringa School. What I do is I guide students on what they do on their journey as a software developer, all the way from beginners up to the professional level. And yeah, so that's me.
Wow, I really don't like speaking in front of these things. So I hope I'm audible, right? So I'm Hamida. I'm a technical mentor in Moringa School. I don't do corporate. I do international. Yeah, and I'll be a judge today, so hope I'll see awesome things. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, one thing they've not mentioned is they are all software engineers, including myself. Yeah, so ideally, today we are here to see what you guys have been doing, the effort you've put in, the innovation that you've put into the products you've built. One thing I'll say, and would like for you guys to have it at the back of your head as we go for lunch and then we come back from lunch, is I would like for each and every person, with whichever product you are representing or you're building, number one, I hope you believe in that product to start with. That's the biggest key to getting anything from today. Have a belief in the product that you have. And number two, when you present your idea, just be clear with your communication. You know, when you want to mean A, indicate A, and if you realize you've said B instead of A, feel free to correct yourself. Those are things we do in normal day-to-day communication. But the one thing I would like for you to really put a wrap on is believe in what product you're building, and that is the key to you succeeding today. Outside of that, is there anything else Yeah, so I'll give it back to Alex, yeah, and I'll see you guys after 2 p.m.
Okay, yes. So those will be our judges for the day. So this is what we are going to do. Right now, I just wanted us to meet our judges and also to get that. So for those who will be, for our participants, these are the rules of the game. As we agreed, each one of us will have 10 minutes. That is 5 minutes to make your point and 5 minutes for Q&A from the judges, for the judges to respond to your project. In those 5 minutes when you're presenting is where you give your problem statement, that's the problem you identified, solution you're offering, and you project your designs. That is, if you have your designs. If you don't have your designs, you can showcase, for example, the prototype you already have. So that will what be expected. We'll be projecting on the screens. After that, we will have after the 5 minutes, the other 5 minutes, the judges will be doing a question and answer session, and then after that, we'll have all our 12 presenters. We have 12 presenters who will be showcasing their projects and what they are working on. For the winners, we won't be announcing them today. Because tomorrow we have the closing session, which will be officiated by our Vice Chancellor, Professor Isaiah Wakindiki. He will be the one who will be, during the award ceremony, that's when we will announce the winners of the business plan competition that took place yesterday, and also the winners of the hackathon, which is going to take place today. So for now, and then after we are done with the presenters, we'll have a 15 minutes break for the judges to deliberate, and then after that we'll have feedback from the judges on their observations and also guidance on how to move forward when it comes to participating in other hackathons to come. This is not the first one in KCA. We have heard this before, and also this won't be the last one. There'll be more to come. So for now, what we're going to do, we are breaking for lunch. And then after lunch we'll be back, and kindly people will be presenting the ideas here. So before, even if you had registered in the morning, everyone who will be attending the hackathon in the afternoon will be required to register at the door. There will be a new form which will be there, whereby you'll be required to register for those who will be attending the hackathon as audience. Yeah. So thank you so much for your attention, and I hope wishing the best team to win at the end of it all. So thank you and have a good lunch. See you let's be back here at 2 p.m. Mostly for the participants, kindly be back in the hall by 2 p.m. Thank you.